So you've seen this part. You saw that episode a few episodes back where I rebuilt this Vortec 350 out of Debbie's dad's old truck. Well, that's what started the whole thing. It was honestly just going to be a new engine. So one of the problems with creating videos like this is I've owned this thing now for what, 2 months, I think? And when I bought it, it was just a dump truck. I was just going to haul scrap metal and dirt and tree limbs and roots. And as everything happens with me, you want to see another example of that? That was going to be like a month-long project at best, and it turned into 5 or 6 years. Well, the same things happened here. It occurred to me a few minutes ago that I'm building this video, and it seems like old news to us, but you guys haven't seen it yet. I just told you that I had a project. Well, it snowballed, as you can see here, with the help of Summit and Holly. Going to be a really nice dump truck. I love driving it. It's big and it's you're set up high. It feels so cool and it looks cool. It's a C50. That means it's 5 times cooler than a C10 for all you C10 guys out there. Mine's bigger, heavier, and it actually works. We're going to call this thing Hot Dump. I kind of like that. It's a hot rod dump truck. And I had my friend Josh Rowan at Rowan Concepts draw the artwork for me. So we're going to have t-shirts available for this thing, which I love. He did such a cool job. He went back and found Summit Racing's first building, and this picture I think was 1969. This truck's a 1971. So it all fits together perfectly. He used Holly's old logo from that era in the hanging on the front of this building, but this is actually artwork drawn by Josh of Summit's first building off an old photograph, and everything just fits together. So we're going to be taking pre-orders for these t-shirts instead of just ordering a bunch of them. If you guys want a t-shirt, I'd really love to sell you one. I'd love to see some of these t-shirts out there when we're at the races. Come back and join me as we go along with this project because it's snowballed big time. I'm going to be replacing the cab on this thing. I'm going to be making it a luxury truck. It's going to be kind of like my new truck. It's going to have all the bells and whistles, but it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be quick. It's not going to be like that, I promise. I'm not dragging it out 5 years. It's going to be drug out 5 episodes maybe, but those are going to be done pretty much back to back because I want to get this thing finished. So let's make a hot dump right now because the other one's worn out, it's carbureted, it had no power, it wouldn't hardly pull itself up a hill. So this was a great upgrade. It was a great idea. I got Holly involved. Holly come on board. They were anxious to be part of it. So now it's got the Sniper 2 system on it, their valve covers, their intake, their electronic ignition, their dash, their new dash for the Sniper. So the engine turned out bitchin'. The exhaust is Summit stainless steel long tube headers. I just picked them for, I think, an F body. I think they're Camaro headers. It makes no difference in this truck because there's plenty of room. There's no motor mounts. There's nothing in the way. These are a larger tube header than what a C10 pickup truck header would be. So I went with these. So that's all grand, but guess what? It exploded from there. Once Summit came on board, now who can be in a dump truck without air conditioning? So Vintage Air and Summit came in. We've got full Vintage Air with the controller that goes in the dash in the stock location. It's sweet. It's going to be inside the stock Chevy dash. It's a complete kit with all the brackets, the everything. It's all the hoses, the lines, everything's complete. This is a bolt-in air conditioner kit. Got some new West Coast mirrors from Summit. Got stainless steel Flowmaster 50 series mufflers for it. There's some tubing and U-bends over there that go with this. A brand new Spall fan from Holly. This is awesome. It's a 16-inch Spall fan. So Summit also provided every piece of rubber for the cab, all the window seals, all the fuzzies, the run channels, everything for the cab in the rubber department. That's from Precision. Specialty power windows. I don't want to lean over when I'm hot and sweaty and knock my Coke over or my ice water, so I just have a button on my driver's door that'll lower both windows. Holly came in with a set of classic instruments. They fit in the stock Summit reproduction instrument cluster. Even have a laser fuel level sending unit. I'm excited about that. One of the best parts, and it's yet to come, is the 5-speed 40/50 transmission. It's a granny gear first gear with a 5th gear overdrive, 0.76 overdrive, aluminum with a PTO on the side, or the power takeoff location, so I can have it just like it was, except it's all fully synchronized and it's got power takeoff, so I can still run my hydraulic pump. This is an adapter kit from Advanced Adapters to bolt that transmission to the small block. So that transmission comes with a different kind of a throwout bearing. So this candlestick bolts on the front of that transmission. It's got the the throwout bearing arm and the block off plate. It's got all of that. That's also from Summit. Summit provided a high torque starter. So this is, again, no room is of no concern. There's plenty of room under there. So I got a big motored high torque starter from Summit. Tough Stuff alternator. I forget the amps. 110 amp, I believe. 140 amp. So 140 amp Tough Stuff alternator, powder coated. So I'm going to be using the stock wheels. You'll see that coming up here. Stock to a degree. They're aftermarket wheels, but they're not Widowmakers because that's what it had stock. So it's going to have a split ring, original style steel wheel, powder coated by Nick, and it's going to have these bug nut covers. They look good because I've already put them on and checked it out. Summit provided a brand new Howe radiator. So I'm going to have a nice aluminum radiator in the thing. A new padded dash. There's a whole set of new glass for it. Windshield, back glass, door glasses. I don't want to move it out here because I might break it. Ask me how I know that. There's a window back there, windshield in many pieces. Really made me want to throw up. So a brand new set of Monroe Magnum shocks for the truck. They fit in the stock location. It's gonna ride so good. New brakes. This is all for the front because the back brakes on this thing seem to be really good shape. New door handles, window cranks. All that provided by Summit. New motor mounts. I've got a new power steering pump I'm going to use instead of the old antique power steering pump. Here's the stainless tubes, 4 pieces of 3-inch, a couple U-bends. I'm going to run out of those headers into the mufflers, make a little turn down like the truck should have. And we bought new Rust-Oleum paint. Actually, it's Krylon, I'm sorry. New Krylon farm paint. I don't want it to be overly nice. I just want it to be protected and look good. I like the patina, but it's going to end up probably not too patinaed. I may have to fake some of the patina. We'll get into more of that later. There's some secrets that I don't want to reveal in this episode yet. So then the Pour 15 semi-gloss paint for the bed, the chassis, the rear end, the suspension. I don't think I'm going to use it on the actual bed because there's enough here, unless there's enough. The dump bed, because I've got a lot of work to do on the dump bed to make it worthy of what this truck's turning into. So the truck has almost every part that I could think to put in it. There's just not much that left. New engine mounts. I think the body mounts are good on the truck. I've already looked at them. So it's exciting. So thank you to Summit and Holly for stepping up. This is awesome stuff. It's going to be like a big model car. I'm going to put this all together into one piece and make one, probably going to be the coolest old C50 dump truck you'll ever see. Oh, I just pulled the shifter clean out of it.
Uh-oh.
This is going to be a challenge to get this home. That shifter's, holy cow. The top of I lifted the stick up. I'm not going to do it for the camera. It just came right out of the top of the transmission. I think it'll be okay. Make sure got a miss, but it doesn't. I think it's just the exhaust. Kind of see the split in the muffler. I think it'll be okay. It's kind of ugly, ain't it?
A little bit. Mayfield needs a job.
So I think that we'll put new boards on, put them up about too high, because I want to be able to throw metal over the side of it. That's a little bit tall. This one, these boards aren't really that bad, but I'll probably put new ones anyway. Maybe shim that up a little bit.
Maybe in braces.
What's that?
Maybe just some braces.
Yeah. It's not bad for an old Humpty Dumpty truck. Look, it's got a pintle hitch. Never had a truck with a pintle hitch before. That's kind of cool, actually. I don't know what I'll do with it, but if I get a trailer, I want to get a trailer and a backhoe. If I get a trailer, most of those kind of trailers use a pintle hitch. So once we left the lot where the guy met me that had it for sale, we just found it sitting alongside the road. Alex actually did. We met him there, made a deal. I jumped in it, headed out the gate, and it was downhill. I thought, boy, I didn't even check the brakes. I hit the brakes almost in a panic because it was a long downhill, and this thing wouldn't stop if it didn't have brakes. It would just coast down the hill and crash into something. So luckily it stopped, but they weren't good. That made me start thinking, I need to be a little cautious with this thing. I don't know anything about it. The wheels could fall off of it for all I know. But we put, I think, 12.6 gallons in it here at this gas station just outside of his gate. And it was 45 miles home, but I knew I was going to be using it. So I went ahead and filled it up. I think they only hold 16 gallons. Unfortunately, that black truck right there, which is mine, was stealing my audio. So I have to voice over this thing. I was walking around telling you all about it, and it didn't record any audio. But this is me owning it for 5 minutes. Look at that diamond tread. Boy, that's some janky looking stuff. Unfortunately, right there inside that door is really rotted. And I didn't realize just how bad it was. So the cab, you can see up there, look at the windshield. Above the windshield, there's just rust. It's just eating through all of that sheet metal. But what are you going to do? It's a cheap dump truck. I'm going to fix it. I've got plans. You'll see that coming up here shortly. So a little update. 25 is about the best it'll do uphill, and I can't tell that by the speedometer. I'm going by my GPS speedometer on my phone. This thing doesn't have enough power to pull a sitting hen off the nest. I think I'll probably have to hang up here and try to get first gear. The 2-speed rear end worked a little bit. I had to stop to get it to go into high. We're about to dog down here. In high gear rear end, I'm able to get about 47 miles out of it, 47 miles an hour. In low range, it's about 40, and the little small blocks tacked up. But looks like it's going to go ahead and pull over the hill, but I can tell it's got to have a motor. Got to have a motor, got to have the shifter fixed. If the shifter was fixed, it wouldn't be nearly as bad, and I think the rear end probably just needs some attention. It shifts and it works, but it doesn't go into high range unless you stop and mess with it a little bit. So once I get the rear end fixed, let's see, the other thing that makes it miserable, the mirror doesn't stay put. There's Debbie behind me. So it's a handful. It doesn't drive too bad. The rear end's a little noisy and the tires are a little square. Let me see if I can get high gear here. This shifter, I gotta reach around and hold on. Okay, it was in gear and I couldn't tell it. So this shifter, let me see if I can zoom out here. It just goes anywhere it wants to go. I can lift it right out of the top of the transmission. So it's a mess. It takes everything you can do to find the gear and wiggle it into it. So downshifting's a problem. I tried shifting the 2-speed and it works. It would go into low range going up the hill, but then it wouldn't go back into high range. So I gotta have it in high range to make it home. I'm not gonna shift it again. And we've got, I think, one more big hill to go up. Fortunately, there's a passing zone. So for now, I'm just gonna try to get it home and fix all these things. I've got a Vortec 350 in like a 97 truck that's pretty low mileage, 60,000 miles. I think I'll throw that Vortec 350 in here. Okay, made it over the big hills. It's smooth sailing now. We're just 3, maybe 5 miles out of town, and it's flat from here on. So it seems to be running a little better, but it's a dog. It's a little smoother, a little quieter. Maybe the tires are getting round from warming up. I don't know. It actually doesn't drive that bad. The steering's a little loose and the shifter sucks, but whatever. I'm probably clicking along 45, 47 miles an hour right now. Listen to that. It's purring like a kitten. One-handed steering wheel. I think with a good higher horsepower small block, stoplight. I've hit at least, honestly, in our little distance there, 20 stoplights. Got third gear. Let's see, I'm gotta reach way over there in the passenger floor for the shifter because it spins out of control. It's in the center now, but when okay, Debbie's behind me. Moving over, no blinkers. She said it has a brake light sometimes and 2 sometimes. So getting ready to turn in this driveway. I'm gonna try to do this one-handed. Man, it takes 48 turns of this steering wheel to turn a corner, but whew, finally made it back. There's the backside of Alex's shop. I'm gonna pull in here, see if she's here. She is, so there's our shop. I see her in there working. Let's turn this thing off. Man, I'm glad that's over with. What a ride that was. That was about the most miserable ride I've ever taken. That was miserable.
That was gassy.
Was it?
Yeah.
It was slow. That was everything that truck would do to get up the hill.
The truck is not smoke. It's, I guess, coming out of the muffler when you shift going up the hill.
Okay. It's a beauty. So that's what a big old C60 looks like with a little bitty motor. Little 2-barrel carburetor. It does have HEI. I thought I was probably going to have to put points in it, but it has HEI, so maybe I see a spark plug wire. Let me get a flashlight. I think maybe that spark plug wire, that's a big radiator. No, I thought that spark plug wire was laying on the exhaust manifold, but it's not. So the radiator decides to start leaking once we got back, kind of puddling up some antifreeze there, and it's coming out of this side over here, and I thought, no problem, I got another radiator. That's a big radiator. I probably need to try to fix this one. That thing's huge. Look at that. It's got to be 2 foot tall and 2.5 foot long. So I'll have to address that, but I've also got to figure, well, there's lots of things to figure out. One of them is I'm wondering if it has vacuum leak. I don't know if the 2-speed rear end is electric or vacuum. I'm almost thinking that that hose right there may be running the 2-speed rear end. So there may be, that's kind of loose and feels like it might have a vacuum leak right there. So I need to look at that sort of thing, but I think the carburetor is the main culprit. Look at it, it's got some JB Weld on it. So I think we'll get rid of that carburetor and get this radiator fixed. This alternator's not really in line, and I tightened it up before I left his place, but the bracket, everything is really ghetto rigged. This power steering belt, it squeaked coming up the hill, which I can see why. That's the idler pulley, and it's loose as can be. I can turn the belt inside out. I'm just lucky that we made it home with it. Power steering works really good. The thing rides really good. Uh-oh, I see. That's brake fluid. Holy cow, why would there be so much brake fluid? That fitting there is leaking. It was dry when we left, but something is leaking brake fluid. Maybe just the gasket in that lid. It kind of looks like it's just poured down it. So that's something I've got to address. There's really not much I don't have to address.
Okay, so I'm going to show you. I was pulling out of the house, and I looked, I'm like, that's a big white truck coming at me. I was like, oh, it's Dumpy. Look at him. He looks pretty good.
He'd motor that.
Yeah, I had to go 65 to catch up to you.
Yeah, but I wasn't doing
But look.
65.
Here's Dumpy pulling up on the back of him. Here you're going slow. Okay, old Dumpy.
I slowed down so you could catch up.
Comes complete with the blonde goober. Look at Dumpy.
Can you hear Dumpy bubbling?
Yeah. Also, oh look, hang on, this is him rolling up. Look at him, he looked good. I even said it.
Not too
Dang, that don't feel good.
No, it's if you look in the inside right there, it's that where you hear it bubbling right there at the cap. Right here, yeah. Cap may need to be replaced. That's whatever. I'll have to take the radiator out and try to solder it or something.
Are you a truck shop now?
No.
You got the cab over. You got Dumpy. You got this.
Look how good old Co looks compared to Dumpy.
Well,
they're kind of related.
he was ugly one time too.
He was very ugly, but
you
he
can't
didn't have as much rust as
You
Dumpy.
can't make Dumpy nice. He's
Dumpy
a
will
dump
never be nice.
I like the white and orange.
So
I like him. I think he's super cool. You're good.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Yeah.
No.
Close to your light up there. Look at those cylinders.
got a 2-speed rear end that works.
What do I
somewhere.
hear? Air.
Huh?
Probably the hydraulic.
If you hear air, it's maybe the vacuum. So that thing.
It was air.
I think the rear end's. I think it's vacuum operated,
Oh.
and I think that when it was. Yeah. See. Oh, that would explain. Look at that. That hose just fell off of that. So, oh, look at the rotted hoses. So it'll engage, and it's obviously vacuum. But that one right there, it would come out of low range and not want to go into high range. But look, so
That's what you heard then?
yeah, the vacuum was leaking out there. That's what I was hoping. The hoses are totally
Okay, well
raw.
that's good. That means Dumpy might move faster.
It's like a perfect fixer-upper, though. It's not rusted to crap. It
Did
just
you-
needs a little bit of love.
Did you tell him that I was driving along and saw it?
Tell
by
them
chance?
like you just showed them. Oh, at Fort Smith.
Yeah.
No, I got it on video up there when I went up. I was all
So,
excited because I thought I was going to get it yesterday,
well,
and the guy wouldn't answer. So anyway, whatever. He was there today. He sold. The other one was on Facebook Marketplace, and he said he sold it, and I got up there, and it was still there. And he said, well, I did that on purpose because I got to keep one of them. Like, what's the deal with that? That's kind of weird. But whatever. The other one was too heavy. I would have had to have a commercial license, and this one I don't.
yeah, true. Did you tell him though? I gotta tell him a story. Hold this real quick. This is your channel, but I gotta tell him. So, Meg and I went to Fort Smith yesterday with my aunt and my cousin, which if you know my aunt, Teresa.
They don't.
My mom's sister, she's a little bougie, and her daughter is too.
Little.
And so we're on our way to get coffee, and I looked over, and Dumpy was sitting up on the mountain, and I whipped over, and she pulls in with her little Jaguar, and it's like, what are we doing? I was like, I gotta check out this dump truck.
You were driving?
I was driving my truck,
Oh, I
and they were
thought.
following me. And then they were like, what are we doing? I was like, checking out a dump truck. Meg said, why are we looking at a dump truck? I was like, Dad wants a dump truck. So anyway, it's kind of funny.
That's
Here it
funny.
is.
So what? You know what's really funny is I had it saved on Facebook Marketplace.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh, funny.
I don't know why I didn't look at it. I think that the beds were kind of bowed out, and it's like, yeah, it's not
You
my
might have
first
sent me
choice.
this one.
I probably
Because I
did.
said we could cut out some sides for it.
I wish the front wasn't so beat up. I'm gonna put new wood on the sides, and I'm gonna beat some of these braces back straight. But for the most part, the bed's really good, and those cylinders are 2-stage. And right now, I don't want to say the word. They're not doing the L word. So they're very solid. And I think the 2-speed problem is that vacuum hose. If you heard air,
I did.
that was vacuum.
It was a big leak.
So I don't know exactly how that works because the switch in here is electric. It's got to have It's got to have a solenoid down below, and it diverts air. If I can make that 2-speed work and put a fuel injection on it,
You're going to be doing 55.
we went. It might do 55 downhill on it with the tailwind.
Dropped out of an airplane.
But if I can do 50 and do, 40 up the hill with a load in it, I'd be okay with that.
Look at those body bushings.
Do we call this a sleeper?
Nice.
A sleeper.
Or does it put you to sleeper?
I'm going to tell you, it's really, really smooth inside.
Is it really?
Your mom and Meg rode it. I mean, it's quiet. It doesn't have, you have to hit a really hard spot to make it rattle at all. And it's very, very quiet. The steering you do with one hand. I turned into the village while I was filming, and I was holding the phone and I'm turning, and it just like takes 20 cranks of the wheel, but it's very easy to turn.
You feel like a truck driver?
No.
You need to get you a knob on your wheel.
You've already said this, but this part right here, I feel like at least makes it worth it.
It does.
And he looks cool.
He's not bad. I mean, all I'm going to do, I've come to accept this. Like, if that rust starts bothering me right there, I'm going to beat it in. I'm going to do like they do on those
spray it.
videos.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to beat it in. I'm going to wipe Bondo on it, and I'm going to paint it. Because it's white. I can get spray paint,
You can do
cans.
that for this. It's okay for this one.
It's a dump truck, right?
It's a dump truck. If it was a nice look, if you ended up-
C50s are
if
cool.
you made it nice, then you're gonna end up like the cabo.
I
He
know.
was supposed to haul stuff. Now he doesn't haul. You're gonna end up with a show dump truck.
It's never going to be a
He's
show
gonna put
dump
new
truck.
He's gonna put new wood on the sides. He's gonna end up epoxying them and buffing
It's
them.
gonna be the
No.
dump truck. The show
That's a
dump-
good. I understand where you're coming from, but that's not going to happen. if I could cut the front of that metal off up there. See, one thing that's stupid is it had wire mesh up there, and you could look out the back window and see through it. They welded a plate over it.
You can see whose windshields you were cracking?
Yeah. So I'm going to do something with the front of that bed. I may cut that plate off and actually replace it, but I just want the bed sides to look good. I just put those headlights in, and I was blowing right there, and I had the ground covered with
Wait, are these Peak
dirt.
Performance? Oh,
They are. And I even showed the box.
Peak headlights.
They're odd looking, but man, they're bright. So I'm about to get the turn signals figured out. It's only got a 2-barrel carburetor, so I'm going to try to get either a Holly or something fuel injection.
Well, they got the Sniper 2s out now.
Put a Holly on it, and I think it'll be like $1 million. It's got a pintle hitch on the back too, so I can put a big trailer behind it. Watch this. Watch this. How cool is that? That's like dump truck level stuff.
That's smooth. It looks so good.
He's so cool.
I'll build a new tailgate, yeah, so we can put a big trailer
What
behind
are
it.
these little hooks for? Upside down.
I guess you put a tarp over if you had a lot of gravel in it or something.
Like one of those little B&M blowers put on it. That'd be cool.
That'd be sweet. I got turbochargers. So yesterday I watched some, what's the show, My Cousin Vinny, and I got to see the scene. He asked that expert automotive guy what kind of machine he used to know what kind of, how do you do it? Analyze the rubber off the tires. And it was a triple throwdown polygraph chromosome something or other. And he said, that thing got a turbocharger on it. So how about my truck should have a turbocharger, shouldn't it?
You could put that little bitty baby turbo.
Muffler on it.
What about that little bitty baby turbo you've had forever?
That wouldn't, it's not powerful, but it's too powerful for that.
Okay.
That muffler's got to go, right?
Yeah.
No,
It's got a cutout.
I like the hangers.
It's got a cut in two.
Those hangers are real nice for it.
Yeah, that's a beauty.
The
It's
heater-
amazing
the
that
heater strap.
it's as quiet as it is. All right. Well, I'm gonna go back to working on turn signals. I guess I had this phone turned sideways the whole time, or up and down the whole time.
Really diversified your collection of stuff in here.
It's not a collection.
A lot of stuff in here.
It's well, you should have seen it
Hang
earlier.
on, look right here. Just look right here.
Bug, Camaro.
Truck.
Well, rust. It seems like we're turning into rust people.
We're not.
Rust. And what was it in here earlier? Oh, your
Savoy.
Savoy. That's definitely rust. Rust is us.
No, it's
Right now, so that thing's not anything to do with show truck. That's just literally a work truck. We're going to throw lots of scrap metal, rocks, dirt, and I'm going to get a backhoe next.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody got a backhoe they want to sell cheap?
Meg wants a Mini X too.
Those are cool, but they're good for picking up dog piles.
She wants it for fun, I think.
Yeah, I don't want that. I want something I can do work. You know, you can buy one of those brand new for probably the price of a decent used full size.
Have you even, sorry, I know you're ending this, but if you listen to Meg's collection, she wants a mini excavator and a smart car. I don't know what.
So she can bury the smart car.
Maybe.
It'd take her a year to dig a hole that big.
Lifted
Look at the
smart car,
glass.
though. Lifted smart car.
Do you think I need to put new glass in it?
Put Pro Glass.
That's sad. Look at that. Yeah, Pro Glass would look good.
Rolling with the windows down this bad.
That's the deal, unless it's freezing. I rode all the way here with them. You know why I rode down here with them down? Because this mirror would spin circles. I had to reach out and push it so I could see who was behind me. And there was cops. So we passed like 52 cops. And how many stoplights are between here and where that truck was? 25? I hit 23. I hit 25 going up. And I hit 23 coming back. I literally only got through 2 stoplights.
Nice.
So it was horrible to shift. The shifter's going everywhere, but I had to hit every stoplight. And then every cop was in town. I think because we're expecting ice tomorrow.
That is true.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to turn signals. So Hot Dump's getting its first bath today. Probably the first bath it's ever had, I wouldn't doubt. You know, people don't usually bathe their dump trucks like I do, or would. So lots of grease in the frames. It's packed. The hydraulic tank's greasy. Cylinders, the rear end, I'm gonna have to work on that. 2-speed part, dirt everywhere. I do want to paint this. I'm not going to get crazy with it, but I'm going to paint it. The front is really greasy. We're going to change the motor, I say we. I'm going to be changing the engine, so I'm going to get it cleaned up the best I can. The power steering's leaking. It's pretty nasty underneath, so I'm going to use the new hot water pressure washer and see how that does. So I know it's going to be a mess for me. I'm going to be taking a bath as well. I just had to open the gate, sorry. So I'll be taking a bath, but today's really nice weather. For the next 3 or 4 days, it's not going to be so nice. So now's the time to do it. So all along as I take a greasy, nasty, hot, because the water is going to be hot. It does steam hot, and I'll take that bath, but at least I'll get it cleaned up, I think. The steam makes all the difference. When I turn it off and just run cold water, it just kind of laughs at the truck laughs at the cold water. The steam will break this grease up. There's so much thick grease on the floor from this stuff. This cable. So I think today is the day that I'm gonna start the first episode of Hot Dump. We had it home last week along with Nick's backhoe, trimming trees like that. You can see around on the ground there how big that tree was, because it got completely out of hand. Even though the others are nice. There's lots of trees down here that needed branches cut, and they constantly do. So when we cut them normally, or I cut them usually, Nick's been helping the last couple times, I have to drag them back to our brush pile with our Polaris. It's dead. The brush piles are down there. Those are getting ready to be burned. We're gonna burn those hopefully this weekend if the rain isn't too bad. We had a burn ban last weekend and we couldn't burn them. That was the day that I wanted to, but the burn ban's lifted. But back to Dumpy, or Hot Dump as we like to affectionately refer to him. He's going to be a massive undertaking in a short amount of time. I've learned so much about dump trucks and C50s since I bought this thing, and it's going to be, I'm really excited about it. It's going to be a cool truck. I'm going to actually drive this thing because it's actually fun to drive. I'm waiting on some parts, but I've got to get it done. I got to get it started as a video series. I want to do, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 maybe videos on this thing, and you're going to see a massive transformation in that time. It's we got trailers all over the yard here. It's going to have a new cab, so that's one of the things. I think about a week, I don't remember the dates exactly, about the 14th, I think, whatever this is, maybe 2 weeks, we're going to go up to Kansas and pick up a new cab for it. This one looks good. Unfortunately, it's got enough rust in it that it's going to be hard to save. And the biggest rust is the roof, which we'll get into that later. Oddly enough, C trucks rust out in the roof. But we're going, and inside the doors, inside the doors, unfortunately, are just basically not savable. So this is going to be fun. Let's get this thing running and take it to the shop, dump this load of trees. I think there's a stump in here. There's a big stump, a bunch of, that looks like dirt, but it's actually tree roots and junk that are covered with dirt. I got to replace this. I'm going to replace all of this. I'm going to replace that and those and the engine and the transmission and the dash, all with help from some good people. I'm excited. Let's see if we can make this thing run. So this old worn out transmission, it's just kind of a guess as to where the gears are. Give it a few pumps. Come on, Bessie, you can do it. Starter sounds like it's about to fall off. Unfortunately, inside these doors has rusted out to the point that they just screwed sheet metal on them, and the doors, look how it's bashed in. They're just kind of really bad shape. And look at the rust up here. This is what's causing me to replace the cab. But I really like the old truck. It's just going to get a massive upgrade. And this is one of the things, power windows. Let's see if we can get this thing down the road. The brakes work, but they got a leaky front wheel cylinder. So they have to be, we have to put fluid in them. Let's see, where am I going to go out of my yard? It's really not made for this. Let's see, this could be tight. When I have to put fluid in them, they need to be bled, but the fluid doesn't last. This thing's so cool. It's actually so much fun to drive. It just needs, it needs lots. It needs all the stuff I'm gonna do. But to make it fun to drive, real fun, that transmission is just a pain. I'm gonna have to put the phone down because I can't drive it one-handed with that janky transmission. But let's go to the shop, dump this load, get ready to make a video. The sky's looking pretty nasty. It's supposed to open up about 11 o'clock and just flood us. They're saying 8 to 10 inches of rain really fast. Whoa. Of course, this stoplight always does this. They've got these stoplights rigged where if anybody pulls up over there, it just slams the brakes on this main highway. And I felt the right front brake work and the left one not. Boomville has got some nasty stoplights. Well, that certainly was easier than doing it by hand. That's a couple dump truck loads of tree roots out of the yard. Well, that's right. So look at this mess. Can you believe? So do I need a rear end? I'm not sure, but I've got a spare just in case. So the deal is, the reason this is all on here, because I needed 2 wheels. Turns out that I don't know anything about trucks, but my truck has 4 usable wheels on the back, and the 2 front ones, they're illegal to mount. You can't, they're literally illegal. So OSHA has all kinds of stuff out there. Many people have been killed evidently mounting them, and I didn't know what I was going to do. I thought I was going to have to make some wheels. A friend of mine in Kansas City had some 6-hole 20-inch wheels, and I was going to have to get those and cut the centers out of my wheels and weld them in the rim that he had. So these are 20-inch, and it's a rare deal. So I was looking at Marketplace. I haven't got his yet. I was looking at Marketplace the other day, and I find this rear end on there with 4 wheels, and I messaged the guy. He only wanted $300 for it with 4 wheels. I thought, okay, done deal. This is going to solve my problem, because I could see in the picture that it had the right wheels. It had the bead lock, or the split ring on the where I could see it in the picture. I made sure he had 4 wheels. Well, he did have 4 wheels. 2 of them are under these, and 2 of them are on the rear axle. Problem is, he only had 1, the good ones, and 3 junk ones, but he didn't bother to tell me that. So we drove an hour and a half, went up, I told him I'd be there, drove an hour and a half, and it turns out I only get 1 wheel. I have to have 2. Well, while we were talking, and I didn't say a lot about it, he said, yeah, 3 of these are those Widowmaker wheels. They're illegal to mount. I said, yeah, I know, that's why I thought I was getting a deal. I thought I was set up. He said, well, right down the road here is a guy, an old man that's got a truck salvage yard, and he did have some of those wheels. So we honestly drove 5 miles and we got there just before they closed. An old man that's been in business for 60-something years. I asked him, and sure, I've got 2 of them, or I've got them. And I said, how much? He said, $75 a piece. Man, that's a done deal right there. Freight would cost. Can you imagine freighting that big old wheel? If I bought it in Utah or something, it would cost a bunch. So we walked back in his yard. He had 2 of them. I said, I'll take them both. Look at that, matching pair. They have 920 tires on it. When he saw the tires, he says, I've got to have $25 for those tires each, because these old guys around here with these spreader trucks, they look for those tires. Well, here's the problem. I didn't think we had the extra money. I didn't bother because we took enough for the rear end. I said something about it. I said, can you dismount them? And he said, not today. He said, but you can bring them back to me. That'll be okay. Well, that's an hour and a half each way. But I figured I'd take him back to him. He's a super nice old guy. I think we're just going to send him a check for him. I don't need them, but somebody will need those 20-inch 900 mud grip tires. They're still in good shape. So what I ended up with was a good rear end, which will probably go under that truck. I'll sandblast it and paint it and put it under my truck. It's the same rear end. Came out of a 67 model truck, but it's all good. No brake leaks, no grease leaks. The 2-speed works. Everything's good. So that's probably the rear end that's going to go under the truck, and then I'll use those 2 wheels there for my front wheels, and use the 4 that are on the truck on the back for the back, and I'll have 1 spare if everything works out right. So the deal is, I don't know if you guys know, there's multiple kinds of old wheels for these things. I mean, many different brands and styles. Look at this one right here, for instance. That's called a Widowmaker. It's almost scary to even be around that. I asked the old man where I bought these, I said, you ever know anybody get hurt by one of those? He said, oh, I knew a guy that was sitting on one as he was airing it up. He said it blew up and killed him right there on the spot, almost cut him in half. Well, this is the ring that hammers on that wheel. So it's not what you call a split ring. Like, see this one here, that's okay. This is even a different style. This is got an interlocking ring, and there's the rim, there's the center. So you got the center, the rim, an interlocking ring, and then this solid ring. You got to hammer this down and pull this lock ring out of there. That's one style. This Widowmaker's another style, and it hammers in right here. That's this piece, and I read that you don't know if that's in its right position until you air it up. The only way you can know that thing is hooked in this silly little hook, and that's not much of a hook. I've never seen one apart. But the only way you know is if it blows up or not. So that tire takes whatever, 110 pounds or something of air pressure. They say when they blow up, somebody's going to die. Well, that's two different styles. This is a third style. This one's called a safety ring, according to old man, safety wheel. So my truck has one of these. It has two splits on the back. Let's see, it has it has three of these, I'm sorry. Has three of these and one split ring. This ring is solid all the way around. There's no split. And then one of my wheels over there has a split. So you pry it off and you take it off like a snap ring. So I've got three different style wheels on the truck. This one's got triangle holes. That one's got round holes. This one here, that's got an odd shaped D looking hole. So this is one that I guess I'm going to use it. I'm not sure. Mine has oval holes. Now these are the safety wheels. So I'm going to use these back ones. And I thought I was using the front ones. I was excited about them. They got round holes. They're round with a little D in them. But those go to the junk now. You don't want to be around them. I'm honestly afraid to be around them. I was pressure washing them the other day after I found out what they were. I was thinking, man, they could blow up just from the water getting in them. But anyway, this is the mess. You can kind of get an idea of the size of those back wheels based on the trailer there. It's quite a load. So it's a 650 gear ratio in high gear and 850 something in low gear, according to the kids. And I read that too. So I forget what they call that, a T19 or T91 or some kind of T something rear end. So I've got a spare rear end, whatever the case is. One other item I failed to mention in the parts over there was 6 brand new, hard to get. Well, at least they're hard to get if you don't know where to get them. This warehouse had 300 of them in stock, but it took a while to find them. So they're the 825-20, kind of an old school size tire. There are a ton of them out there still in use, but you can't just go to a tire store and buy them. We tried. Nobody even knew what they were. It's just an odd size, old school. Goodyear told me that that's what they call an old size. So they don't make them anymore. These are Sumitomo, I think is the way you say it. Let's see. Sumitomo. I think that's it. Yeah, Sumitomo. So there, I thought, oh great, Chinese tires, but didn't have much of a choice. Well, it turns out they're made in Japan. So, and also, I talked to some friends of mine. They said those are great. Those are really good tires, and they've got a really good carcass. If for the retread people love them. So Debbie found these before we realized that the wheels were not going to work. That's before we figured out that it had Widowmaker wheels. But these things were cheap. I couldn't believe it. I can't remember exactly, like $200 a piece or something with the tubes and the liners. So she ordered these. They came in. Then I figured out that I've got the wrong wheels and I didn't know if I was going to be able to find any, but I did. So the cool thing is that I'm going to have the stock wheels with those cool chrome lug covers, powder coated white to match the truck, and I'm going to have the thing lowered is my plan. I'm going to lower it, I don't know how much, but I kind of want to match the artwork, and I'm going to have all these cool new parts in it, and I've got the original size wheels and tires rather than doing something like this. I looked into using these big 22-inch semi wheels on it, and I just didn't want the look. There's just certain things that I want. Can't explain why exactly, but I think those stock wheels are going to look good. Let me go back here and show you what I ended up with. So after I broke those wheels down, got the tires off of them, I just had to put the lug caps on them just to see what they're going to look like. I think that'll be a really cool look. I had Josh draw the artwork with the stock wheels and the lug caps, and they're going to have black drums. I'm going to keep drum brakes, and the hubs will be black. So it'll have a unique look. I mean, most people would put aluminum wheels on it. I decided I wanted the steel wheels. Mika, what are you doing? You going out to check out the beautiful weather? All right, whatever. Be sure to come back. So there you have it. Okay, check this out. Super Sport hood. This is the big block hood. Could have been a 427.
Yeah, I thought they had a little badge on there that said 427 on some of them.
I don't know. I haven't seen that, but it may have one on it. Says something cool when I get done. C50SS.
Yep.
Because that makes me think of an SS. But anyway, look out there. So we just got back from our Kansas trip with our score, our stash. And then Reggie shows up with the hood that he was kind enough to go pick up for me down in Hot Springs, or what's the name of the place? Bismarck, which is down by Hot Springs. So I didn't have to make another day trip out of this. Reggie wasted his day for me. Very nice of him. So let's pull this thing out of here and check it out. I guess it's the same. I hope it's the same. Because this is a C60 hood. Look at that.
Okay, one little ding in it.
A little Bondo will fix that up. That's a hole. What in the
Sure is. I
world?
didn't see through that.
You know, look at the backside. It's got a big spot of oil there. I wonder if it threw a rod, kicked it up through the hood, and then they beat it back down because it's got a hole in it. But that's all right. I can fix that. That's better. So it's not rusty. There's the big key. I mean, obviously it's rusty, but this rust is no big deal. It's the rust when this piece separates from this piece that I'm concerned with. And that's what's wrong with hot dump's hood. If I was to take that Bondo off of there, it would be 2-piece hood or 3-piece or something.
This would be cool for a cold air intake.
That's it.
Make something really neat over there.
That's what it was. I don't know how it worked, but it must have had an air filter that it set down on. Anyway, whatever it is, it just makes the hood a little bit cooler. So very cool. We got that one out of the way. I'm gonna move it out of the way. Then we're gonna get these heavy things off. That one I'm not looking forward to. I gotta get my forklift, and my forks are only that long. That's a long ways to the center of that truck. I need about that much more fork. So we're gonna try to figure out how to make that work. But thank you for getting this hood for us. Let's slide it right back in that hole for the time being. The reason I'm putting it back here, because remember last week I cleaned the shop up a little bit. I can get to my tire machine. I can't have that. I've got to stack something in front of my tire machine. So now if I need to do a tire, I can move the hood like normal. Normally there's a transmission or something sitting there. So now we have a hood. Anyway, let's get my forklift and see if we can get these things off. Okay, that's it for the first episode of Hot Dump. Come back, join me on this journey to create a hot rod dump truck out of a really big piece of junk. It is cool, it looks cool, I love it, but it needs a lot of work. So Meg, Alex, and myself are leaving tomorrow to Sweden. Yes, the country Sweden. We're going over to an auto show. It's kind of like, I guess, their PRI or their SEMA show, and it's a pretty big deal in Sweden. Lots of people. They've invited us over, so we're flying out in the morning. We'll be back in about a week. We're gonna go try to buy a car to go back in July, I think, and race on their version of Drag Week called Street Week. So that's one of our other things we're gonna do after the show, or maybe before the show. So we're gonna be there a week, and the show's 3 days, I think. And when we get back, I'll probably have to do an episode of some of the adventures that we see over there. Alex will have a full episode on it. I'll probably do a small episode on it. But once we get finished with that next episode, we'll be back on the hot dump, and I'm gonna be taking it apart. I'm waiting on the transmission. It should come while we're gone, and when we get back, I should be able to start jerking this thing apart and throwing some really cool parts in it. So thanks for watching. Thanks for coming back and continuing to watch, and please like and subscribe, because it helps a lot. I'm doing good. The channel's growing. And last thing, if you don't mind, buy a Hot Dump shirt. That helps as well. That artwork from Josh is just too cool. I love that dude. He makes some great art, and he captures exactly what I'm thinking up here. So thanks again. We'll see you next time.